The thing that sits on your chest, the terror of sleep paralysis. There is a particular kind of horror that exists in the space between sleep and waking, a horror that science can explain with terms like REM, atonia, and parasomnia, yet which feels to those who experience it like something far more sinister. It is a state where your mind screams awake, but your body refuses to listen, where the darkness in your bedroom takes shape and begins to move, where something sits on your chest, pressing down, stealing your breath, and you cannot move, you cannot scream, you can only watch as it leans closer. This is not fiction. This is sleep paralysis, and for approximately 8% of the general population, it is a recurring nightmare that happens in the most ordinary place imaginable, their own bedroom, in their own bed, in what should be the safest hours of the night. Let me tell you what happens when your brain wakes up, but your body does not. The phenomenon has been documented for more than 1,000 years. Persian medical texts from the 10th century describe it. In 1664, a Dutch physician recorded what he called nightmare in a 50-year-old woman who woke unable to move, convinced something evil was in the room with her. For centuries, it was believed to be caused by demons or spiritual possession. It was not until the 19th century that medicine began calling it sleep palsy and eventually sleep paralysis. The science is straightforward, even if the experience is anything but. During REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep, your brain is highly active. This is when you dream. To prevent you from acting out those dreams and potentially harming yourself, your body enters a state of muscle atonia. Essentially, you become temporarily paralyzed. Your muscles shut down. Only your eyes and your diaphragm, the muscle that controls breathing, continue to function normally. Under typical circumstances, this paralysis ends when you transition out of REM sleep. You wake up, your muscles reactivate, and you never notice the process. But sometimes something goes wrong. Your consciousness returns before the paralysis lifts. You wake up, aware of your surroundings, but your body remains locked in place. You cannot move your arms, you cannot move your legs, you cannot turn your head. In some cases, you cannot even open your eyes, though you can sense the room around you with an eerie clarity. And then the fear sets in. According to research compiled from 35 studies encompassing more than 36,000 individuals, approximately 7.6% of people have experienced at least one episode of sleep paralysis in their lifetime. The numbers are higher among certain groups. 28.3% of students and 31.9% of psychiatric patients report experiencing it. Women reported slightly more frequently than men, though the phenomenon affects both sexes across all ages and cultures. But the raw statistics do not capture what it feels like. Imagine this: you fall asleep in your bed. Hours pass. Then, at some point in the night, your eyes open. You are awake. You recognize your bedroom, the familiar shapes of furniture, the way the light from outside filters through the blinds or curtains. You are conscious, fully and terrifyingly conscious, but when you try to sit up, nothing happens. Your body does not respond. You try to move your arms, your fingers, anything. Nothing. It is as if you have been pinned down by an invisible force, every muscle in your body held immobile. Your breathing is shallow, restricted. It feels like something is pressing on your chest. The weight is real, physical, suffocating. Panic floods through you. Your heart races. Your mind screams at your body to move, to do something, to fight back, but the signals do not reach. You are a prisoner inside your own flesh. And that's when you see it. According to studies on the phenomenology of sleep paralysis, 41.5 to 58.8% of people who experience it report sensing a presence in the room, not just a vague feeling, but a certainty that someone or something is there, watching, waiting, moving closer. Between 29.5 and 43% report visual hallucinations. They see figures, shadows, things that should not be there. Between 22 and 45% report auditory hallucinations, footsteps, whispers, breathing, incomprehensible voices that sound threatening even when the words cannot be understood. A majority of these experiences are accompanied by intense fear. Researchers have documented a significant association between sleep paralysis episodes and the fear of death. Many who experience it believe in that moment that they are going to die, that whatever is in the room with them intends to kill them, that the pressure on their chest will not lift until it has crushed the life out of them. One student described her first experience this way. She had been up all night finishing an essay. When she finally finished, she immediately fell asleep. The next thing she knew, she thought she had completely woken up, except there was a shadow figure looming over the end of her bed. It had no face, but she could feel it staring at her, and the sensation was of pure evil. She tried with her whole body to scream, but nothing came out. Then its head twitched to the side, and it pounced on her chest, thrashing at her, suffocating her. When she finally woke up fully, she lay in bed for half an hour, shaking, close to tears. The terror of that helplessness, of being utterly unable to defend yourself, is a common thread through nearly every account. Others describe a figure sitting on their chest, an old woman with long hair and a wrinkled face climbing onto the bed and strangling them, a shadow without features pressing down with impossible weight, faceless figures hovering over them, a crawling presence moving across the floor, up onto the bed, and then on top of them. One woman described feeling the mattress shift under the weight of something climbing onto it, seeing a figure crawl towards her, and then realizing when she got a clear look at the face that it was her own face. She was looking at herself, and the thing wearing her face was strangling her. The hallucinations are not random, they follow patterns. Researchers categorize them into three main types. The first is the intruder. This is the sense of a dangerous presence in the room, someone or something that should not be there. The second is the incubus, named after the medieval demon said to assault people in their sleep. This is the sensation of pressure on the chest, difficulty breathing, and often a feeling of being attacked or assaulted. The third type involves unusual bodily sensations, such as floating, being pulled out of the body, or moving through the room even though the physical body remains paralyzed.
Why do these hallucinations occur? The prevailing theory is that when you wake into sleep paralysis, your brain immediately enters fight or flight mode. You are conscious but cannot move, and your brain interprets this as danger. It begins searching for an explanation. Why are you paralyzed? Why does your chest feel compressed? The brain, in its panicked state, generates hallucinations to make sense of the situation. It creates a threat to match the fear, a figure in the corner, a presence on the bed, something attacking you. The hallucination is your brain's attempt to explain why you feel so terrified. But this explanation, logical as it may be, does little to comfort those who experience it, because in the moment, it does not feel like a hallucination. It feels real. The figure looks solid. The weight on the chest is physical. The breathing of the thing in the room is audible. Every sense confirms that this is happening, that the danger is real, that you are not alone. Different cultures have different names for the phenomenon. In Japan, it is called kanashibari, which translates to bound in metal. In Nigeria, among the Yoruba people, it is called ogun oru, or nocturnal warfare. In Turkey, the karabasan, a supernatural creature, is blamed. In many Western cultures, the old hag is the culprit, a terrifying witch who climbs onto victims and strangles them. The term haggard, meaning tired-looking, is believed to derive from this folklore. What is particularly unsettling is that certain details appear across cultures with remarkable consistency.
the sense of a presence, the pressure on the chest, the inability to move, the overwhelming fear. Whether you are in Japan or Nigeria, Turkey or the United States, the experience follows the same patterns. Research has identified several risk factors: sleep deprivation, irregular sleep schedules, sleeping on your back, high stress or trauma. Post-traumatic stress disorder and panic disorder are strongly associated with it. Substance use, particularly alcohol, certain sleep disorders including narcolepsy, where up to half of patients experience sleep paralysis. Many people report their first episode in their teenage years or early 20s, most commonly between ages 16 and 20. For some, it happens once or twice in a lifetime. For others, it becomes recurrent, a regular visitor they dread each time they lie down to sleep. What can be done? During an active episode, there is no direct treatment. You must wait for the paralysis to lift. Some people report techniques that help, focusing on moving a single finger or toe, controlling breathing, or recognizing what is happening and waiting it out calmly. Prevention focuses on addressing risk factors, maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, getting adequate sleep, managing stress, avoiding alcohol before bed, sleeping on your side instead of your back, treating underlying anxiety or PTSD. In severe cases, some doctors prescribe medications, though these are not cures. For most people, sleep paralysis is rare, happening once or twice and never returning. For others, it becomes a regular occurrence, something they dread each night, wondering if they will wake frozen, struggling to breathe, watching as something dark takes shape in the corner and moves toward the bed. The scientific explanation is clear. It is a parasomnia, a disruption in normal sleep. Consciousness returns while REM atonia persists. The brain creates hallucinations to explain a frightening state. It is not demons, not ghosts, not supernatural. And yet, when you are lying unable to move, unable to scream, and something is sitting on your chest, and you can feel its breath, and you can see its shape looming in the darkness, the scientific explanation offers little comfort, because what matters is what you experience, and what you experience is terror. Sleep paralysis reminds us that the mind is capable of creating its own horrors, that we do not need external threats when the brain, under the right conditions, can generate nightmares that feel more real than reality. It reminds us that we are, in some ways, prisoners of our own consciousness, vulnerable to glitches in the systems that govern sleep and waking. And it reminds us that there are states of being where we are utterly helpless, where all we can do is endure until the moment passes and the body remembers how to move again. If you have ever experienced sleep paralysis, you are not alone. Millions of people around the world have faced the same terror, the same hallucinations, the same crushing sense of helplessness. It is a documented medical phenomenon, not a sign of madness or spiritual attack. If episodes are frequent or severely distressing, speak to a doctor. There are ways to reduce the likelihood of future occurrences. But if you have never experienced it, consider yourself fortunate, because there are few things as terrifying as waking in the night to find yourself trapped inside your own body, watching as something that should not exist moves through the shadows of your bedroom, coming closer, always closer, until you can feel its weight settle onto your chest and begin to press down. Thank you for listening to this exploration of sleep paralysis, one of the most common yet misunderstood experiences in the realm of sleep disorders. If you found this examination of psychological horror compelling, I would appreciate it if you would take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. There are more dark stories waiting to be told, more mysteries that exist at the intersection of mind and reality, and I will be here to guide you through them, always with respect for the science and the human experiences behind these phenomena. Until next time, sleep well. And if you wake in the night unable to move, remember, it will pass.
The paralysis always lifts. The hallucination always fades. You will be able to move again. Just breathe and wait, and try not to look at the corner of the room where the shadows seem darker than they should be.